Good evening, I'm Vicky Maponga, and this is the main news. Piswe Jomunyika at the Sign Language Desk.
Great to have you along. My name is Wetland. These are tonight's top stories.
Preparations for the 45th Independence Day celebrations gather momentum.
When we look at business news, the roadmap for the Victoria Falls International Financial Services Centre has been outlined.
We'll look at sport a little later, and contractors at Kwekwe's Chawanda Stadium are confident of completing the project this month.
Now, preparations for the 45th Independence Day celebrations that will take place on the 18th of April and will take place in Gokwe have gathered momentum, with several legacy projects set to be completed by next week.
As the country celebrates its 45th independence anniversary this April, government's preparations for the event have gathered pace with a hive of activity at Gokwe Open Grounds. Briefing journalists on the cabinet outcomes in Harare this Tuesday, the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jennifer Mswere, said contractors have accelerated works at the main arena.
Contractors have accelerated works at the main arena, the Gokwe North Open Grounds, and key progress has been achieved in lawn planting, terracing, the construction of changing rooms, floodlights installation, and the construction of ablution facilities. The venue for the children's party at Nyamuroro High School is undergoing vast transformation through the construction of 2 ablution facilities and 2 student hostels in terms of the main infrastructure as in the blocks, both of which are almost complete. Regarding works at Nembudzia Government High School, the gala site, construction of 1 ablution block, 2 classroom blocks, a domestic science laboratory and senior science laboratory have reached wall plate level, with roof installation being the next phase.
Government is also embarked on road rehabilitation as part of legacy projects, with short and long-term projects set to benefit the Goko community.
Long-term interventions include the ongoing rehabilitation of roads and related infrastructure under the Emergency Road Rehabilitation Program. The short-term interventions include the regraveling and surfacing of major feeder roads to and from Nembudzia Growth Point for completion. A cumulative total of 129 boreholes have been drilled in Gokwe districts, with 7 boreholes having been drilled at the venue site. A total water storage capacity of 60,000 litres has been set aside for drinking water during the celebrations. Concerning health and wellness, the following services, among others, have been mobilized for the celebrations: 10 emergency health management service teams and infrastructure, 10 ambulances, an air ambulance and emergency kits modality, a VIP ward, isolation center, and 16 telemedicine centers have been established.
Government noted the peace and tranquility that continues to exist in the country despite calls for nationwide protests by one Blessed Geza.
Yesterday is a clear demonstration that Zimbabweans fully support the government that they elected as ZANU-PF government, which is led by His Excellency the President, Dr. Edin Nangago. And we still fully appreciate the peace and tranquility that continues to exist in our country. Yes, these cyber terrorists were led by one, a Mr. Geza, who is a liberation war mistake with a lot of delusional hallucinations. in that he actually believed that he could create an uprising in our country, which is a clear misdirection of ambition. And you are here, you can witness that the peace and tranquility continues to exist in our country. Zimbabweans have a shared responsibility in order to achieve Vision 2030, which Vision 2030 seeks to achieve an upper middle income society by the year 2030. We are past that insightful alarmist who is delusional, but of course the security sector is closing in order to deal with the treasonous nature of his activities.
Cabinet approved the 5-year Zimbabwe media policy anchored on the need to achieve a strong and converged digital economy, with its 6th pillar focusing on local content promotion.
The objectives of the policy are to defend Zimbabwe's image, sovereignty and territorial integrity, to achieve a strong and converged digital economy, to promote the growth and development of a vibrant, diverse media industry in Zimbabwe, to transform Zimbabwe's media landscape through the development of modern, efficient and sustainable infrastructure, to promote professionalism and capacitate the industry to develop and enforce comprehensive codes of ethics, raising standards of media practices in Zimbabwe, to promote media viability and sustainability, to nurture and instill national values and ethics and citizenship, promoting a shared understanding of Zimbabwe's history, vision and developmental aspirations. The 6th pillar of the policy, which is in terms of local content promotion, which addresses challenges such as funding constraints, limited producer capacity, the dominance of foreign content and an inadequate regulatory framework. To promote local content and to counter foreign dominance, the policy maintains a 75% local content quota for all broadcasting licenses.
Some of the issues discussed include projects under the 100-day cycle, including the establishment of a heritage-based educational radio channel in Bulawayo, installation of a digital media asset management system, and construction of courts at Mutawatawa, Kwekwe, and Country Park in Bulawayo. Bruce Chawanda, SADC News, Harare.
The ruling ZANU-PF party has commended the nation for heeding the call to disregard the March 31 planned protests.
Addressing journalists in Harare this Tuesday, ZANU-PF Secretary for Information and Publicity, Ambassador Christopher Mchangwa, applauded the peace-loving people of Zimbabwe for refusing to participate in Monday's illegal demonstrations, which were called by the country's detractors.
I want to congratulate the people of Zimbabwe for maintaining peace, for maintaining order, and for maintaining faith in the leadership of President E.D. Mnangagwa. But more important, for keeping the gospel of the Zimbabwe revolution on the straight and the narrow. And we are now going to enter a period, a very exciting period in the development of Zimbabwe. In the history of Zimbabwe, a new chapter has been written before 31 March 2025 and after 31 March 2025. It's a watershed in the history of the people of Zimbabwe, another milestone in the store of achievements by the people of Zimbabwe. And as ZANU-PF, we are very, very, very thankful of the maturity, of the discipline, of the restraint, but also of the caution which they viewed events as they passed, so that not a shade of blood is spilled.
Ambassador Mchangwa also paid tribute to the security services for ensuring peace across the country.
I also want, on this occasion, to give a pat on our state apparatus. It came out in full force to protect peace and order. And they proved that they are not a joystick for political daydreamers.
The Secretary for Information and Publicity also highlighted that the rejection by the people of Zimbabwe to participate in the failed demonstrations sends a clear message of a failed agenda to the country's detractors. Festus Mkungurutse, SADC News, Harare.
Meanwhile, political analysts say Zimbabweans showed political maturity by disregarding calls for demonstrations on Monday.
March 31 had been widely publicized on social media as a day for demonstrations, but Zimbabweans chose peace as they snapped the purported insurrection this Monday. For political analysts, the decision by Zimbabweans to go about their daily activities was a sign of political maturity and refusal to derail the nation's march towards Vision 2030.
As usually in the past, Zimbabweans are really people that are politically mature, and they know exactly what is good for them and they know what is not good for them. Hence, the result showed yesterday the demos were completely a failure, and everything carried on as usually. As hard-working Zimbabweans, we're busy doing our own thing as usually, as if nothing really had been said about the demos.
Zimbabweans singabantu abathanda ukuthula, siqhakathekisa impilo kahle, siqhakathekisa ukuthula, njalo esikukhangeleleyo kathesi ukakha ilizwe lokuthi silithuthukise lathi silibone lisiya phambili, abantwana bethu behlale labo bekhulele endaweni ethuthukileyo elokuthula. Yikho sikuqhakathekisayo, yikho nje sibonile ukuthi izolo bekungela ukutshengisela kulodlame, ibhizinesi abesebenza sikhangelela ukuthi siye phambili sithuthukise ilizwe lethu.
Demonstrations are known for derailing economic progress, and Zimbabweans have been urged to always guard against being swayed and divided by individuals pursuing personal interest.
We want all the malcontents, just like Mr. Geza has done, to be held accountable for their actions. We have prepared a document with our lawyers that we're having a lawsuit anytime soon.
The illegal demonstrations were at the behest of former ZANU-PF Central Committee member Blessed Geza, who was expelled from the ruling party for indiscipline. Lisa Masuku, Kurura, SADC News, Bulawayo.
A new water reservoir is being constructed in Victoria Falls as part of the Water, Sanitation and Health Program.
In an ambitious program meant to enhance service provision in the ever-growing Victoria Falls city, Council has injected $4.5 million US towards the construction of a 700,000-litre reservoir and a 5 million-litre ground tank. The total cost of the project is $14 million US.
Roads, we have roughly 7.8 kilometers. Then they've managed to cover 4.68 kilometers on roads. Then in terms of sewer, they haven't done much, but asebekwenzile for issues lama pipe diameters achiyeneyo 360 millimeters, le 200 le 315.
Ukuthi sibonile ukuthi Victoria Falls City Council is doing well in terms of our capital projects, and we know ukuthi as we are going forward from here as the city of the Victoria Falls, abantu bazathola amanzi, as we saw that tower project that has been done, eyamanzi. We know that we are going to have a proper water and sanitation in Victoria Falls.
Apart from the WASH-related projects, a drug and substance abuse rehabilitation center is being constructed at Chinotimba Clinic in a partnership between Council, the Ministry of Health and Child Care, and Mosotunya High School. A new housing scheme with about 500 high-density housing stands is also taking shape.
We're doing 12 kilometers of sewer, 7.8 kilometers of road with a double skim tar.
Under the National Development Strategy 1, government is capacitating local authorities to ensure delivery of all targets. Mhlomuli Ncube, SABC News, Wange.
Now, over 2,500 farmers have applied for title deeds, with $74 million US having been raised since the process started in February this year.
The implementation of the Land Tenure Security Program, which was launched by President Emmerson Mnangagwa in December last year, continues to gain momentum, with government having processed more than 2,500 title deeds by end of March. This Tuesday, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Professor Obedijiri, was at the one-stop center in Harare, where he expressed his satisfaction over the progress made so far in title deeds processing.
I'm happy to report that to date, as of yesterday, we had 2,518 people that we have saved in this center. And of those 2,518, we have 513 whose values were really valued to a tune of 74 million of their title deeds. We also had a total of 16 title deeds which were really printed. The rest of the 2,518 are at various stages of processing.
Professor Jiri said the process of title deeds issuance is being devolved to all provinces so that it will make life easier for all farmers to get the deeds.
We have also started really doing the automation, the online application, if you want to call it, so that people can just start the process from the comfort of their homes and end up at the center. So yes, we are going to devolve and ensure that in every province, in every district, we have a center that can attend to the farmers.
Banks have also come on board to provide financial support to farmers under a mortgage arrangement. Over 12,000 farmers with 99-year leases are eligible to apply for title deeds, as their farms have already been surveyed, while other farmers can organize themselves to have their farms surveyed in groups. Tentai Munengwa, ZBC News, Harare.
Today marks the 45th anniversary of the Southern African Development Community and the deepening of regional cooperation and development.
In a statement, the Southern African Development Community SADC celebrated how on this day in 1980 the SADC founders signed the Lusaka Declaration establishing the Southern African Development Coordinating Conference. The aim of the SADC was to advance the cause of national political liberation in Southern Africa, promotion of effective coordination of utilization of the specific characteristics and strengths of each country and its resources, along with concerted actions to secure international cooperation. The bloc later on, during the 17 August 1992 SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government, transformed into the Southern African Development Community, with focus on the integration of economic development through the signing of the SADC Treaty. The Secretariat said as SADC commemorates 45 years, the region reaffirms its commitment to deepening regional cooperation, integration, and development of the people of Southern Africa, guided by the SADC Vision 2050 of a peaceful, inclusive, competitive, and industrialized region. Over the years, regional integration has increased, with the Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan tracing progress made in peace, security, and good governance, industrial development and market integration, infrastructure development in support of regional integration, along with social and human capital development. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Elsewhere, Zimbabwe has achieved a significant milestone in its fight against HIV and AIDS, surpassing the UN AIDS 95-95-95 targets among the adult population, but challenges still remain when it comes to children.
Zimbabwe has made significant strides in its HIV/AIDS response, with an impressive 98% of adults knowing their status, 97% on antiretroviral therapy, and 96% achieving viral suppression. However, challenges remain ensuring children receive equal care, with only 61% knowing their status, 100% of those knowing their status on antiretroviral therapy, and 90% achieving viral suppression, hence falling short of the 95-95-95 UN AIDS target. Officiating at the National AIDS Council Editors Workshop in Chinoi, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Child Care, Dr. Aspect Maunganidze, emphasized the need for robust HIV social protection mechanisms and called on the media to play a crucial role in shaping the HIV narrative.
New infections are a real menace which can make us regress in the achievements we've made. And these new infections have been identified to be particularly in the most vulnerable groups. This includes children who, by not of their fault, they can be born with HIV. So the power of the pen, or the mightiness of the pen, will come through and help inform and educate as we set our national policy agendas.
National AIDS Council Operations Director Mr. Raymond Yekeye also highlighted the media's role in telling the HIV story, emphasizing their commitment to accurate and responsible reporting as indispensable.
We cannot afford complacency. Your voices can help keep HIV high on the national agenda, advocate for more resources, and also hold other stakeholders, our program implementers, and also the recipients of care accountable.
As Zimbabwe continues to build on its successes and address the remaining challenges in its HIV and AIDS response, the media's role in promoting awareness and education is crucial in ensuring that all individuals, including children, receive the care and support they need to live healthy and fulfilling lives. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Chinoi.
Or there are more stories on our website. Go there, www.zbcnews.co.zw. We are also on social media. Go look for us on Facebook, on Twitter, now X, and of course Instagram. You just look up ZBC News Online and you should be able to find us there.
A look at stories now still to come in business. Roadmap for the Victoria Falls International Financial Services Centre outlined. And contractors at Kwekwe's Chawanda Stadium confident of completing the project this month. That will be a look at sport. Do stay with us, we'll be back shortly.
Delighted to host the upcoming 15th conference of the contracting parties to the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, COP15 in 2025. Zimbabwe is home to quite a number of small wetlands that have benefited our rural communities, mainly in providing pastures for livestock, water provision for irrigation and domestic use. In addition, our management of wetlands, which has led to pristine wildlife management, will ensure an unforgettable experience of an authentic African safari. Our adoption of sustainable land use practices that minimize the impact of human activities on wetlands can be observed in our various wetland sites such as Victoria Falls, Munaville Vlei, Chinui Caves, Cleveland, Chivero, Driefontein, and Manapoos. 5 of the Ramsar designated sites are the main anchors of our tourism product. Manapoos, Chinui Caves, Cleveland, Chivero, and the host city for COP15, Victoria Falls. We look forward to welcoming you to Zimbabwe and sharing all that we hold dear to our hearts, a world of wonders.
And welcome back. You're still watching the main news. Our countdown continues to the 18th of April, where Zimbabwe celebrates 45 years of independence. Now, Zimbabwe's Independence Month officially beginning today, with focus on how the government has transformed several arms and departments to reflect the wishes and aspirations of Zimbabweans. Let's get this report from our chief correspondent, Ruben Barwe.
For many decades, the Parliament of Zimbabwe legislated laws that governed this country. In May 1980, the first democratic Parliament of Zimbabwe, which included both whites and blacks, sat in this parliament in May 1980. And the first Speaker of Parliament was Comrade Didymus Mtaza, followed by quite a number of them, including Nolan Makombe, the current President Mnangagwa, the late Comrade John Como, and Love Momoyo. Now we have Comrade Jacob Mudenda. They legislated laws until a new parliament was built at Mount Hampden. The month of April is the month that Zimbabwe got her independence from Britain in 1980 after a brutal armed struggle to remove a rebel regime of Ian Smith from power. During the transitional period from December 1979 to April 1980, a lot happened as many Rhodesians could not stomach majority rule. Even post-independence period, the mischief continued. One of the three surviving first cabinet ministers in independent Zimbabwe, Professor Simbi Mbako, who was the justice minister, gives us a glimpse of what it was then.
When you looked at the whole system, because it was not only my ministry, it was other ministries as well which needed to be Africanized. It was a mammoth task. But we did so slowly, without causing too much friction. There was a lot of sabotage in the barracks and so on. And at Nkomo barracks, there were bombs and so on. And a lot of equipment was destroyed. And the people would then just disappear and go to South Africa. It was extremely difficult. And the president eventually appointed a commission assisted by BMAT, which was the British
military training advisory.
Yes. And in the end, chaired by Mnangagwa, the present president.
The debates in the post-independence Parliament of Zimbabwe back then were robust, though racist tantrums often clouded real issues, as former Rhodesians could not believe that blacks were now in charge of this country, said Professor Mbako.
They're much more civilized now than during our time. They're much more civilized, but they're doing a good job, particularly when it came to issues like land,
equalization of
opportunities and so on. They didn't want that.
The Second Republic has had many signature projects that many at home and abroad have emulated. Among them is the new Parliament building at Mount Hampden, opened in April 2022. This very place, initially in 1890, the pioneer column, which colonized this country in September 1890, were supposed to land at this mountain, Mount Hampden. Unfortunately, they got lost and landed at the Kopi near Harare and hoisted their flag at the Africa Unit Square, then named Cecil Square, in 1890 on the 12th of September. So as all roads lead to Nembudzia in Gokwe, people must reflect on the road traveled. They must also know that the Second Republic shifted from the small parliament building in Nelson Mandela Avenue in central Harare to this new place. Ruben Barwe, ZBC News, at the parliament buildings in Harare.
Marilyn is on standby from our Montreal studios to give us more news. Marilyn?
Good evening and many thanks to you, Vicky and Butler. And now in our following report, Matabeleland South Province has targeted to put 3,500 hectares under wheat during this winter season after major dams in the province spilled this rainy season.
With Matabeleland South Province having received adequate rain for this summer cropping season, it is all systems go for the upcoming winter wheat season after revelations that 90% of the major dams that supply water to the irrigation schemes in the province are full. Agriculture stakeholders who attended the provincial winter wheat preparedness in Daba in Gwanda this Tuesday concurred the prevailing situation is conducive for a massive production of the critical cereal crop.
Of our 17 dams which support us as the province, 17 of the dams they spilled, meaning they were at full capacity. I will stand in front of the house and guarantee that the 3,500 hectares with the water to do that.
Akuna muntu olomhlaba namanzi ofanele ayekele ukuthini ulima iwheat.
And of those 49 tractors, the tractors are able to service not only the irrigation scheme itself, but they are also able to service the farmers outside.
Farmers from various irrigation schemes in the province who attended the Indaba urged critical departments like ZESA and ZINWA to prioritize irrigation schemes so that the province may achieve its target in line with the country's Vision 2030.
Besicela ukuthi kube lendlela engcono eyokukhulumisana singaqumelananga amanzi lamagetsi ngesikhathi izilimo sezizavutha.
Matabeleland South Province is targeting to plant 3,500 hectares of winter wheat, with private players also being urged to support the provincial target.
My appeal as the Ministry of Agriculture representative is that we put all our hands together. That's why we called for this meeting. So let's make use of is seated in front so that we bring the 3,500 hectares and even exceed.
Government is mobilizing requisite resources for winter wheat production at a time the country is anticipating a bumper harvest from the 2024-2025 summer cropping season.
We must work towards the increased production of wheat in the country. I know we've done extremely well as a country in terms of wheat production. But we want to excel as a province because we've been contributing 3%, whatever, 2 point whatever percent. We want to increase the area of coverage. To ensure that we also have got an input as a province.
For a province that has seen massive revitalization of defunct irrigation schemes like Silalachani, Makwe, Mankonkoni, Sebasa, Mashalomoshe and Chikwarakwara, availing of critical resources like electricity, water, and expertise may turn the once dry region into a green belt as the country envisages an upper middle income society by 2030. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
While the majestic Victoria Falls continues to draw global attention, a new trend in the form of village tourism is transforming the surrounding communities.
In Monde Village, a short distance from Victoria Falls, a unique cultural experience is unfolding at the Crow Arena. Visitors are not merely observing a natural wonder, but are also actively engaging with the rich traditions of the local population. The Crow Arena, an open-air venue with a capacity of 500, serves as a stage where the past is brought to life through traditional song and dance.
Esibayeni lapha esikhona the Crow Arena siyenza ama traditional dances atholakala esigabeni sethu lapha eVictoria Falls. Sile Shangani, sile Nambia, sile Tonga, sile Kalanga, then sile Makishi. Imakishi is one of a group dominator lapha eFalls.
True to the adage, Taking tourism revenue to the custodians of the land, the surrounding communities are reaping the benefits of the recently launched arena. This surge in village tourism transcends mere cultural exchange and acts as a robust catalyst for sustainable development. The generated revenue directly supports these communities, bolstering essential services like education and health care. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
A 600,000 euros community knowledge hub has been commissioned in the Hwange National Park in a joint effort between Zimbabwe and France to support conservation programs in the area.
The Isango Community Knowledge Hub was launched in the heart of Hwange National Park to cater for conservation issues within local communities, the intellect, civil society and government agencies. As it opened its doors to the public this Monday, the hub will guide knowledge-based conservation activities, benefiting both scholars and conservationists. For the representatives of the French and Zimbabwean governments, the initiative is testimony to the power of working together to drive development.
For our beloved Zimbabwe to industrialize, to benefit from our minerals and agricultural resources, and to grow our economy, education, technology, and development is foundation.
Sustainable development can only be achieved through genuine collaboration involving local communities, governmental agencies, research institutions, and civil society.
The Isango project seeks to promote inclusive and adaptive environmental governance in Hwange National Park and the surrounding areas. It has also supported student researchers at local institutions like the Lupane State University in its focus on coordinating efforts across stakeholders who include local communities, councils and researchers, emphasizing on sustainability of Hwange's socio-ecological systems. Mshomoli Ncube, ZBC News, Hwange.
And that's it from myself, Marilyn Gunya, and the Montrose crew for tonight. Vicky is on standby with more news. Vicky, it's back to you.
Thanks, Marilyn. The Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill has sailed through Senate without any amendments.
The Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill, HB 10A 2024, being now read a third time. Is there any debate? No.
This Tuesday saw the Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill getting the approval of Senate without amendments. However, before that, the bill was subject to interrogation.
Why, therefore, by just virtue of owning a radio transmitter in my car and I'm somewhere at the back of the country, where is the logic?
So if a taxation is no relation to a service, it can have implications whereby one can go to court and challenge as to why he is being taxed.
All countries in the region, it's mandatory to pay, and even international for public broadcasting. So this is not a new case. And as I've already indicated, that the law already provides for that. What we are just doing is aligning the legislation in terms of Section 194, subsection 1G. We have had a broadcasting sector that had not been performing well, not having capacity to be able to pay Zimura and the musicians. But what we need to do is to comply with the Act in the case that the particular motorist owns a radio receiver. Then I'll move, because one of the key pillars in terms of the new media policy is to generate content. Most senators will agree with me that the United States of America or the Europe that we envisaged before we traveled today, we saw it through television. And that all those filmmakers, directors and producers, all those musicians were being paid for adequately. And that over the years, due to the financial challenges with ZBC and because of lack of compliance, the national public broadcaster has not had capacity to be able to expand their services and also to pay for the content. And I believe this is a very noble clause because it's already well taken care of in terms of the existing legislation.
Others squeezed on payments of radio licenses in the event of ownership of multiple receivers by one person.
Assuming that I have got four cars, why should I compulsorily pay 4 licenses? Because the service is just one.
My question would be, will he be, the Honorable Senator, be driving all the 4 cars in one go? No. The answer is no. What it means, the second question would be, does the Honorable Senator pay for insurance for the 4 vehicles, or he pays for 1 vehicle and it insures for the 3 vehicles? Or, as I indicated, does the Honorable Senator have the capacity to drive all 4 cars at one go? The answer is no. Or we can go further to say, when they pay for motor vehicle license registration, does he pay for 1 and it covers the 4? I think, Honorable Chair, we have to pay license fees for each and every vehicle. We have to pay for insurance for each and every vehicle. We have to pay for motor vehicle registration for each and every vehicle.
Dr. Muswere also informed the House on progress being made in the digitization program.
Will be delivered in terms of Zim Digital Phase 2 program and project, which is already underway. We've done the calculations. We require 75 million for publicity requirements, for the infrastructure, which includes for transmedia and bus. And I can assure you there will be total national coverage.
The Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill, which has passed through the National Assembly and Senate, is expected to be fine-tuned by the Parliamentary Legal Committee before being taken to the President for assent.
Now, dualization of the Harare-Kanyemba Road has resumed in Mazoe, with the contractor Exodus and company expected to construct the road up to the Mvurui turnoff.
After a break of construction work on the Harare-Kanyemba Highway following the SADC summit held last year, Exodus and company has begun work in earnest. Speaking during a provincial development meeting in Bindura, National and Central Provincial Roads Engineer Joseph Makokove confirmed the resumption of roadworks.
They are still waiting to get payment so that they can resume. Now they are mainly focusing on the dualization up to Mvurui turnoff before moving to Mushumbi.
Residents of Mazoe welcomed the road dualization project, saying it will enhance business and traveling along the busy road. Meanwhile, Mashayan Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Christopher Magomo, urged provincial heads to maintain the whole of government approach in line with government's devolution thrust.
This is the time to recommit ourselves to effective service delivery, accountability and transparency in our operations. The whole of government approach is a key lesson from NDS 1 that we must strengthen as we move towards NDS 2.
3 more roads are set to be constructed in Mashayan Central Province this year, and these include St. Albert's Lotito Road, Rushinga Chimanda Road, and the 40-kilometer Mahuwe Mzarabani Road. The Ministry of Transport and Infrastructural Development has since flighted tenders for the roads projects and is awaiting review and awarding by the Procurement Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, PRAZ. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Bindura.
A new boarding facility has been established in Makonde, Mashonaland West Province, amid expectations of enhanced learning outcomes in the community.
Matoranjera High School has been upgraded to become the first boarding institution for Makonde Rural District Council. The commissioning of the facility this Tuesday has been welcomed by the local community.
And Matoranjera School pane discipline and it's a new environment.
Nguva pioneer panzvimbo nyowani
takambosumukira kusvika chakutakura form 5 and form 6 ndo vachadonha apa grade yese ndo vachadzoka futi pasi chisina vana dambudziko takanga tine dambudziko rekuti takanga tisina maticha tiita dambudziko rekuti vana vechikoro achina takanga vakuya vachitamba kudzamara vabereki takubvisa vana pachikoro.
Tinofadza zvokuti kuti chirongwa ichi chauya mukati medu taingonza kuti kune maboarding schools tafara kuona chikoro cheduwo chaitwa boarding school.
The local leadership is convinced that the facility will promote the quality of education.
The Minister of State has promised that she will be giving us 20 laptops. So we are very happy. This is the beginning.
We are just 25 kilometers away from Chinhoyi. We have got water, electricity is available, and it is support yekanzu. Saka next way forward yedu tukuvaka infrastructure.
Commissioning the boarding facility, Mashonaland West Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Marin Chombo said the development will mitigate the high prevalence of teen pregnancies, drug and substance abuse.
Batsira boarding facility, it might look small, but munoziva problem here, early child marriages, especially in the rural areas. It's a big problem in Nyaima drugs. So with this school, with the boarding facilities, munoziva restrictions akati one day. So it means we are going to have we are going to have qualified teachers, pilots from this school.
Government is on a drive to promote quality education across the country amid calls for public-private partnerships for the upgrading and construction of schools. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Matoranjera.
That's a lot of excitement there. All right, and that story takes us to a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at your business news.
It's an experience and a half.
What are we looking at?
Thank you guys for joining us on this unforgettable night.
Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead. The megastar is here.
Absolutely sensational.
Let's go!
It was such a success.
The rest is history.
Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
In a world where time is currency, every minute counts. Let's be real here. Who has time to waste on grocery shopping? I mean, I'd rather be organizing paperwork all day. Or better still, watching paint dry. Anything but grocery shopping. But then I discovered Click and Collect. TM Pick and Pay's online grocery shopping platform. I can order online and collect at my convenience with no parking hassles, no queues. Thank you. And still have plenty of time for the important stuff, like taking a nap. Click and Collect. It's not just an online service, it's real convenience. TM Pick and Pay. Real value, always.
Leaving no place and no one behind.
Zimbabwe
at 45.
Iko kwa Nembudzia oloju kupela mhlaka 5 April 2025 pa Nembudzia Growth Point. Radio Zimbabwe nepfenyero ine chaunga ikuya ne Central Radio yePagweru mu Midlands siyabangena eGokwe tiri kuya ne National FM nepfenyero ine Chimuti ndechenyi rwendo runo Gokwe marangarirwa roadshow yauya chikuranzira chemhemberero dzerusununguko rweZimbabwe gore rino kekutanga muZimbabwe kuona nepfenyero nhatu dzeZBC munzvimbo iyi dziri pamwe chete zvinoramba sei muZimbabwe yakasununguka Zimbabwe at 45 watisivhuli ndlela sivangene imvuzo iyo lahlwa kuzoba mnandi endaweni wozosihlangane khona eGokwe Nembudzia mhlaka 5 April 2025 eNembudzia Growth Point chauya Chimuti kuchaunga kwa Nembudzia siyabangena Zimbabwe at 45.
Well, let's look at business news now. Zimbabwe is targeting global capital flows after outlining plans to set up the Victoria Falls International Financial Services Center to help local firms access offshore funding for production and recapitalization of strategic units.
Information contained in the latest government gazette this Tuesday indicates that the center will be under a special economic zone in Masuwe State Land in Victoria Falls. The Gazette also notes that services within the center will be done in a freely convertible multi-currency in the global markets. The center, which will be established in line with Zimbabwe's development agenda, has also received the backing of the business community.
Players that are operating in the financial hub in Victoria Falls, we actually have the freedom and actually will be freed from some of the headwinds that characterize the current financial institutions from freely operating, in that they are immune to some of the regulations and barriers that would actually make it difficult for them to attract finance as well as attract investment.
Our industry needs capital, it needs funding. So we are looking at this institution being able to assisting industries, mines and so on in raising capital. And everybody needs capital in the operating environment that we are in.
The functions of the center will include facilitating international financial flows and offering a platform for business and government to engage on global financial issues. The latest government gazette notes that a governing council of the center, which will be chaired by President Emmerson Mnangagwa, shall be responsible for determining operational modalities of the project. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
From business news, we look into the arts. 29-year-old beauty queen Pauline Marere has begun preparations for the 16th edition of Miss Supranational pageant set for the 27th of June in Poland.
The ravishing beauty was crowned Miss Supranational Zimbabwe at a ceremony held in Polokwane, South Africa a week ago, is set to battle it out with more than 80 beauty queens from around the world in Malopolska, Poland. Pauline, who is no stranger in the pageant world after bagging the Miss Pan-African Queen title in 2019 and was the second runner-up at the Miss Environment International in 2023, said she will leverage on the experience gained at these pageants.
Based on my previous pageants, I've learned that as an individual, you need to embrace yourself and you need to be confident. It doesn't matter the type of pageant that you're going to. Sometimes you compete with people that have done bigger pageants, but you need to believe in yourself and you need to be confident all the time. I'm currently working on my public speaking skills, which I believe is one of the most important aspects of the competition. And I'm also working on my project, which is called the From the Grounds Up project. And I'm currently focusing on providing free cleft surgeries for babies and adults around Zimbabwe. And I'm also working towards preparing my wardrobe, which includes my national costume, my evening gowns, and everything else that's required on the wardrobe list.
Harashta Zara of Indonesia, who is the reigning Miss Supranational, will hand over the crown to a successor at the same event. Patience Nyagato, ZBC News, Harare.
And that is our art story for tonight. Sport is next.
Shark on the line.
He took my fish.
What?
I really want you to find someone nice who would mean the world to you and make you so happy.
Bernardo Silva, Stones, Foden, a little bit of time. Oh, what a shot! What a goal! What a player!
Let's take a look now at sport. Now, construction works at Chawanda Stadium in Kwekwe are progressing well, with contractors confident that all works will be completed by the end of this month.
The Chawanda Stadium is progressing steadily, with the contractors aiming to meet all the requirements of the Confederation of African Football (CAF) to be able to host international matches. Contractors are confident the facility will be complete by end of this month, with plans to officially open the facility with a match pitting Zimbabwean legends against the African legends next month.
Everything is on ground. That's your bucket seats, your metal, everything's on ground. What is happening now is just assembling. And the bigger part of the job has been done. We were supposed to open end of March, but we remember when we started to do groundbreaking, we were speaking of 7.5. But now we are talking of 15,000 seats. So we have doubled the work, which has made us to delay a bit in terms of construction. So our wish is 35 days from now, but also our leaders will guide us when they are free to come and officiate such a stadium.
The Kwekwe community is excited by the prospects of watching professional football in the city, while others are already benefiting from the job opportunities that have been created by the project.
Taitofamba kuenda kunana Harare kure uko tichifambira mabhora ayo, but iko zvinozvi zvatirerukira kuti tinongobva pamba 2 minutes tasvika paground.
Mabasa tetinge chimawanawo pano totowanawo pekushandirawo pano.
You definitely have a very better feeling, you know, when you're playing for a team that has got a very beautiful stadium like this. It gives you motivation and you keep working hard so that you achieve the goals and the goals of the team.
Government commended the investors for assisting in the national development.
My tour today of Chawanda Stadium has been inspirational, fulfilling and reassuring. The development of our communities is indeed a collective responsibility that demands values of commitment, resilience, and most importantly, patriotism, shown here by our project sponsors. We are indeed grateful.
Once the stadium meets the FIFA standards, Kwekwe United is anticipated to use the stadium for its home matches, thereby bringing the top flight to the mining town of Kwekwe. Tafarach Kumira, ZBC News, Kwekwe.
The start of the 2025 Women Premier Soccer League season has been delayed by a week, with the league's administrators citing lack of preparedness on the part of the clubs.
The highly anticipated 2025 season was scheduled to kick off this weekend, with the many looking forward to witnessing the country's top female footballers in action. However, the games will only start a week later, following the postponement of the kickoff, after administrators decided to give clubs more time to prepare and also pay affiliation fees.
The Zimbabwe Women Premier Soccer League postponement was necessitated by the readiness assessment survey that we did as a league, which revealed that some teams needed additional time to prepare. We have now then prioritized giving them the necessary support to ensure a successful league. Our off-season roadmap was primarily focused on team registration, player transfer, and other logistical preparation, though we encountered some challenges. While the season gets underway on the 12th of April 2025, fans can expect an exciting and competitive league.
The postponement comes as a relief to teams like newly promoted Red Buffalo Queens, who were struggling to raise the affiliation fees required to participate in the league. With the new deadline, Red Buffalo Queens have more time to resolve their financial challenges. Meanwhile, the 2025 season will feature 16 teams, including newly promoted teams Red Buffalo Queens from the Eastern region, Kwekwe Queens from the Central region, Crampon Royals from the Northern region, and Mpopoma Sports Academy from the Southern region. Anna Shemrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, we'll look ahead to the weekend Premier Soccer League action, which will see Ngezi Platinum having a taste of their own pedigree. They travel to Harare for a date against Caps United.
Arora Giants Makepekepe have started the season slowly after winning just one of their 4 matches this season. The Green Machine drew with a Green Fuel and lost to Scotland in Tier 1. However, they've managed a solitary victory against Whipping Boys Triangle, who have lost all of their matches this season. In recent seasons, the club, famously known as the Cup Kings, has been a pale shadow of itself. In the last 5 seasons, they've only managed to finish in the top 4 once in 2019, when they secured the bronze medals. Barring that, the Lord Chitembo coach side has been consistently hovering around mid to lower table positions. Their quest to reassert set their pedigree, and the second win of the season does not get any better as they face former champions against the Platinum Stars, who have started the season strongly, securing 3 wins and a draw. The two teams square off at Rufaro Stadium this Sunday in the peak of the weekend's fixtures. Action, however, starts on Saturday with the stuttering defending champions Simba Bora hosting a buoyant Tier 1 towards 9. Struggling Chicken Inn host Herentals at Luveve, while FC Platinum travel to Bada Stadium for a date against Kwekwe United. Scotland date Bikita Minerals at Rufaro Stadium, while Greenfield host Yada in Chisumbanje. Sunday sees winless Triangle back at their home ground, Gibo Stadium, following the conclusion of the repair works at the stadium. The Lovett side will be seeking a change of fortunes when they host Highlanders at home. Lawrence Tusela, ZBC News, Harare.
All is set for the National Association of Schools Heads Track and Field National Championships, which begin in Chipadze, Bindura on Wednesday.
The best secondary school athletes from every province in Zimbabwe have trooped into camp ahead of the National Association of Secondary Heads NASH Track and Field Championships, which begin at Chipadze High School in Bindura this Wednesday.
I'm expecting them to be a bit tough because it's definitely like all the provinces in Zimbabwe, and I'm really expecting it to be a tough one. But then I speak for everyone, for Harare, when I say that we are ready and we're hoping to get like all of the gold medals.
Gold medal, and we open up to represent Harare province.
I'm expecting it to be tough. No competition is easy.
Mashonaland Central Provincial Schools Inspector for Sports, Arts and Culture, Mr. Tondera Mshore, said necessary infrastructure has been put in place to ensure successful hosting of the event.
As Mashonaland Central, as hosts, we are very ready, 100% ready now. The guys have just completed the marking of the track and the pitching of the tents. We are very comfortable that every province coming here will be accommodated.
NASH President Arthur Maposa said the event is the biggest on its calendar each year. The NASH competitions are running under the theme Run Against Drug Addiction, Empowering a Healthy Nation. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Bindura.
And that is our look at sports. The weather report and forecast is next.
Hello viewers and welcome. It is time for your evening weather report and forecast. My name is Benjamin Kwaramba. I hope I find you well. All rainfall activity continues over the country, with God's Observatory in Bulawayo receiving 18 millimeters, Kwekwe and Plumtree both with 14 millimeters this morning. Again, in the morning it was mostly cloudy in most areas but sunny, and it should get cooler as we move into the evening. In the satellite images received this afternoon, they show cloud approaching from the western parts of the country to cover the entire country as we move into the week ahead. We therefore expect some pockets of precipitation here and there, particularly over areas that lie along and to the north of the main watershed. Now, your minimum temperatures expected tomorrow: 13 for Harare, Bulawayo 15 degrees Celsius, 18 for Gwanda, Victoria Falls 18 as well, Chiredze 19, Kariba 20 degrees Celsius, Gweru 13 degrees Celsius. Maximum temperatures 28 for Harare, the capital, 30 for Mutare, Bulawayo 32, Victoria Falls 33, the same for Kariba, 34 degrees Celsius expected at Chiredze. Detailed forecast in the week ahead: Bulawayo there, fine at first, becoming warm by afternoon. Matopos again, windy conditions expected, particularly on Thursday. Gwanda again, mostly sunny. It should be cool at first, becoming warm later. Masvingo again, we expect mostly sunny conditions, but by afternoon it should become warm. Gweru, cool at first, becoming warm later under partly cloudy conditions. Kwekwe again, cool at first, becoming warm later under partly cloudy conditions. Kadoma with your maximum temperatures in the lower 30s. Harare again, partly cloudy conditions, cool at first, becoming warm later. Chinoi again, we expect mostly sunny conditions, but by afternoon it should be warmer. Lupane, partly cloudy and cool at first, becoming warm later. Victoria Falls, the same conditions should continue with your maximum temperatures in the lower 30s. Same for Kariba. Bindura again mostly sunny but becoming warm later in the afternoon. Marondera cool at first, becoming warm later. Nyanga again partly cloudy conditions expected in the afternoon. Well, that does it in tonight's edition of the weather report and forecast. It's back to the main desk.
The way of the weather, and it's a wrap for tonight.
Zimbabwe yaramba, Zimbabwe yaramba, Zimbabwe yaramba. Police the police, guard the guard, chair the chair.
Hello viewers and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Combating Corruption. This is a show that shines a spotlight on